Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rajas Kakasungura YouTube channel. We are not going to leave any stone unturned in this issue of William Ruto versus the Gen Zs. My entire work here is to keep you updated and informed on maybe what you didn't know. My work here is to open your eyes and reason from a broader perspective away from what you see daily with your naked eyes. Politics needs a third eye that can logically see issues. I want to take you back to William Ruto's speech when he was dismissing his cabinet, and I will be using the words he chose to implicate him for yesterday's actions. I am going to play that video for you. You know, English also has interpreters. The way you can interpret my English is not the same way another person can interpret the English based or from a Lego perspective. The way I can interpret English spoken by you is not the same way a lawyer can interpret the very same English spoken by you. So, can we listen to William Ruto when he was dismissing his cabinet?
However, even with the progress we have made, I am acutely aware that the people of Kenya have very high expectations of me. And they believe that this administration can undertake the most extensive transformation in our nation's history. Recent events that necessitated the withdrawal of the finance bill, which will require a review and reorganization of our budget and fiscal management, have brought us to an inflection point. Upon reflection, listening keenly to what the people of Kenya have said, and after a holistic appraisal of the performance of my cabinet and its achievements and challenges, I have today, in line with the powers given to me by Article 1521 and 1525B of the Constitution and Sections 12 of the Office of the Attorney General's Act, decided to dismiss with immediate effect all the Cabinet Secretaries and Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya, of the Cabinet of Kenya, except the Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Affairs. And of course, the Office of the Deputy President is not affected in.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to pick one statement from that speech, and that is the statement I'm going to use to argue my case. Watu wameniuliza, kaka, you told us that people have been dismissed cannot hold an office. That is the law, that is how it stands, and you can't change it. Now, Ruto says, after a holistic appraisal of the performance of my cabinet and its achievement. That is the statement I want us to analyze. I repeat, after a holistic appraisal of the performance of my cabinet and its achievement. What is the meaning of holistic appraisal? Inamaanisha nini? A holistic appraisal means an analysis or evaluation which into account the entire context or system rather than single elements or parts. Sawa sawa? When Ruto tells us after a holistic appraisal, inamaanisha nini? Ruto didn't assess each and every cabinet secretary's performance. He didn't do that. A holistic appraisal means he did an analysis of the entire cabinet rather than an individual. Paka hapo tuko sawa? Haya. This means what? After an analysis which I've explained, Ruto was convinced constitutionally and found his entire cabinet as a whole has failed competence. Unanielewa? Wakati Ruto anasema after a holistic appraisal, inamaanisha hakuenda kuuliza Aden Duale, wewe umefanya nini? He didn't ask Wahome, wewe unafanya nini? He didn't ask Kindiki, wewe unafanya nini? He didn't ask Moses Kuria, wewe unafanya nini? He did what we call a whole analysis of the entire cabinet. After doing an analysis, he was constitutionally convinced that the entire cabinet, except Musalia Mudavadi, cannot deliver. Now, I am demanding answers from William Ruto. And these are the answers I'm demanding from him. Ruto has assessed a whole cabinet na ameona hii cabinet haiwezi ikanisaidia hata kidogo. If Kindiki was competent, if Duale was competent, if Wahome was competent, if Chirchir was competent, if Miano was competent, then they could have been left alongside Musalia Mudavadi if they were competent. But because a whole analysis found them incapacitated to deliver, then it means they cannot qualify to be re-nominated again. Now I'm asking William Ruto, if the whole cabinet failed your test, swali kwa Ruto na tunahitaji majibu. And I want you to trend this video. Wale mko na TikTok accounts, wekeni hii. Hii weka paka imufikie. Wale mko na TikTok, weka jaza hii. Nimewapatia freedom. Jaza hii paka imufikie. If the whole cabinet failed William Ruto's test holistically, then how is Kindiki, Duale, Wahome, Soipantuya, Davis Chirichid, and Miano competent? Because they were also dismissed for incompetence. When did they become competent, William Ruto? After dismissing them, at what point did they become competent? Is it they went out after dismissal, they went to perform, so that you now look at their performance out there after dismissal, and you are now renominating them as competent individuals? This is a mad government. This is a mad government. And we reject these names by all powers humanly possible. Ruto should know that any cabinet secretary who was dismissed should not find their way back to the cabinet. Because that is called recycling fossils. Anyway, musiseme mimi ninapiga Ruto kwa sababu I am presenting facts. I am using logic to argue my case. I'm judging Ruto from his own words while dismissing the cabinet. This is not my cooked story. This is William Ruto's words after a holistic appraisal of the performance of my cabinet as a whole and not as an individual. When did Kindiki, Duale, Wahome, Chirchir, Miamo become competent? We need answers. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. See you in the next video. Asante sana.